welcome to another Q&A session for the best club in history, Real Madrid, hosted by Gael Manny.
Hi everyone, this is Gael, welcoming you to another Q&A session. So I think yesterday was a good match. Manita, clean sheet, the players who really needed to scored. A Castilla player got to play. We are still within 10 points of Barca, so I think it's a very good game. To discuss this with us are Aaron and Saurav. Hi guys.
Hey there.
Okay.
How are you doing?
Great.
Absolutely. Yeah, great here too.
Alright, so my first question is, I feel that there was an improvement last night compared to our last two games, at least. That's actually something that Higuain confirmed after the game. And Kaká also said that, Real Madrid are the ones who make the games easier or harder, and last night they made them easier. So in your opinion, what changed compared to the past few games? Aaron, you want to go first?
Yeah, well, for me, I think it started with concentration in the back. If you look at our past two games, we've kind of been slipping against Moscow a little bit, and then even more against Rayo. We haven't had the security in the back line, which moving forward doesn't give the rest of the team confidence. It also lets the other team stay in the game far longer. Once we scored that first goal, because we looked so assured in defense, Espanyol really never had a chance of catching up with us. We took a while to get that second goal and really put the game away, but even until we got that second goal, we still looked like it was always our match. So the psychological impact is probably my guess for what made it look like such an easy match for us.
Okay.
Yes, and yeah, I feel that, we were playing at home, so a big psychological boost to the players, you can say, and everyone was extra motivated to perform yesterday, and the back problems, as Aaron pointed out, yes, they looked pretty confident yesterday, and as in the last match, Ramos, they just didn't had their head in the game, but previous night absolutely flawless performance from them. So yes, that was the confidence, and as we got the first goal and the subsequent the second, we always looked at this game is ours for the taking, and we never looked, they never threatened. We always looked in control. So yes.
Okay. All right. Well, the commentators here said something that basically translates into when the white shark sees blood, that there's no stopping it. So that was the feeling.
Yeah. Actually, that was the when most of the players it was just revenge time. I kind of felt that after yesterday, two straight games on lackluster performance by them. Same with Moscow and in Rayo. So I felt the players were just looking, just okay, just get in there and score a lot of goals. I mean, I was kind of hoping that the goals would come within the first 10-15 minutes. So it was actually surprising that when he scored, it took 23 minutes.
Yeah.
For Ronaldo to score. But actually, yesterday it was like every player, they, I could feel that extra motivation was there. That we want to perform and we want to get that bad performance of the last two games off our chest, and just just go for it. Just go for it today.
Okay. Aaron, you had that feeling too?
Well, I had that feeling after about 20 minutes in. It felt like for the beginning of the match we weren't really creating a lot of chances. We had that one really strong opportunity at the very start of the game when I believe it was Higuain was offsides, which actually was an unfortunately reoccurring theme for most of that first half, Higuain being offsides. But until we scored that goal, I really didn't see the fire in their bellies, to be perfectly honest.
All right. Well, that kind of goes with what I felt about Kaká. I was tweeting the game last night, and I was like, "Oh, Kaká is looking a little absent." And then suddenly he starts doing all these things, and I'm like, "Yeah, okay, I'm gonna shut up now." And that was weird because in the press conference, Mourinho said that Kaká hadn't trained the day before, so that would be on Friday. And that he didn't know if he could perform or not yesterday. He was talking about sacrifice, will he be capable of doing that sacrifice for us? And Kaká had been a bit off lately also. And finally, then I want to give him credit for the first goal because it's his pressure who led Espanyol's defender kind of lose the ball. Then he assisted the 3-0. He scored for the fourth goal. He assisted in the fifth. He took several chances also. So, and I also saw him defending a lot. So at the end I was like, wow, what's going on here? So I wanted to know your feeling about Kaká and if he redeemed himself, so to speak.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, yesterday I felt, before the start of the match, I felt that Mourinho would be, going with Callahan instead of starting Kaká. But when I saw the team sheet, I was surprised myself. He's starting Kaká. I had my doubts, considering his performances in the Rayo game. I was like, is it good to start with him? Probably rest him or probably bring him on in the second half or something. But considering his performance that he gave yesterday, it was actually a masterstroke from Mourinho. It was absolutely, he really knows how to get the best out of the players. And, it never looked that he has been suffering from injury just 2 days ago. He didn't train for 2 days. So, it didn't look like that. It was like he was perfectly match fit, and he also it looked like he wanted to prove a point. That, okay, this is my game, I'm gonna perform, I'm gonna do. So every, minute, he was on the ball, he looked threatening, creating chances, always being in good positions. So, yeah, it was actually his game yesterday, and it reminded me of Milan, Milan days.
All right.
Well, as a bit of a counterpoint, when it's when you only spend a couple days not training, it's not a particularly serious injury, like if you're only out of training for a day or two, it's tough to get knocked out of sync quite that quickly. But still, I definitely don't know that I would have started Kaká. So, Mourinho obviously has access to more information than me, sees them. But yeah, I was particularly surprised that he decided to start Kaká, and I was wrong in my second guessing of him. I gotta be perfectly honest. I went to start him, and I would have been wrong. He had a fantastic game.
Okay. Well, I was also kind of second guessing because when I saw the lineup, so Kaká and Ozil, I was like, oh no, I don't like it so much when they're paired. That's something we discussed last week. Swerve, I don't know if you remember. That when the pairing works well, it's great. But when one of the two is kind of off, then it falls apart. And I was like, oh no, I don't want to see that. And then I'm like, yeah, that's why you're not the coach, really. So you have no idea, So how did you feel about the pairing and also about Ozil's performance?
Yeah, actually, when I first saw the team sheet, even I was scared like you. Oh God, please don't let it be a repeat of Rio. And I was like, oh God, please let them click today. And it was desperately needed. And, they clicked. And Ozil performance, as I've always said, like how last week we discussed, when Kaká is playing, he always tries to shift to the wings, and yesterday I felt, I don't know if I don't know, agree with me or not, but I felt that yesterday, in the absence of Di Maria, Ozil was getting on the wings and he was trying to get crosses in, he was trying to adapt to his role, what Di Maria does when he plays. Always shifting to the wings and, and then getting the crosses in or, ground passes. He was actually doing that, which I kind of felt, was also good. But, I feel that, yesterday, because Kaká played well, so it also complemented his even Ozil's performance. So even both of them actually clicked yesterday. It was it was just one of those days when everything fell into its place.
Yeah. Aaron?
Yeah, I think he had an alright game. I want to congratulate him for winning, German Football of the Year. I saw him get that award before his national team match.
Okay.
But part of me kind of wishes that he could, work on his trajectory of those crosses a little bit, because it seems like a lot of his crosses are getting intercepted before they even get into dangerous spots. And, it's one thing to send a ball in and have it cleared out. It's another thing to try and send a ball in and have it hit the first man before it even gets into the box, So I would hope he could work on that a little bit. But I agree that it looks like he's trying to take on a Di Maria-like role, and it's good to see him altering his play to fit what the team needs. I don't think he had the best game in the world, but I don't think he needed to have the best game in the world because we had other players who were, totally stepping up their game. So I think he had a bog standard game. I thought he worked hard. I thought he didn't lose possession every time he got the ball, and that's all that was really needed of him.
Okay. Yeah. So, Aaron, which players shone in your opinion? Because you said other players. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead on Higuain.
I was really scared after the first half, really, that Higuain simply wasn't going to be able to get the goal that he needed. His confidence was going to stay rock bottom. He had that fantastic assist to Ronaldo, but that was pretty much his only good touch of the first half that I could tell, especially when he got stonewalled by Casilla, when Ronaldo sort of set him free. He had the goal at his mercy. All he had to do was place the ball where the keeper couldn't get it, and, he failed to do that. So that was a bad sign, but luckily he turned around the second half, had a fantastic second half, stopped being offsides every other minute, and had a great game. He's probably my man of the match, or at the very least is tied with Kaká as my man of the match after a pretty poor first half.
Okay, so yeah, he definitely redeemed himself in the second half. in your eyes, yeah. Sora?
Yep. Actually, from the first half itself, I felt that, Higuain's gonna score, after that first instance when he fell offside, and then in the second instance when he had his shot saved from Casilla, and that time only I felt, today is Higuain's night, and I had that gut feeling, that he's gonna score any moment now. He's just gonna skip past the defense and he's gonna score. And that's what happened. Pity didn't happen in the first half, but nevertheless it happened in the second half, and I expected to see that. And as he scored, I was jumping with joy. Yes, he scored. But it was you could feel that, after you see his running, and yesterday he was actually making that, that extra effort. I could see that, in the last 2-3 games he was just like in the last game against Rio, he didn't have his mind in the game, He was, that's where he had all the, even Mourinho was on his back, shouting and screaming at him. But tonight, yesterday night, I felt it absolutely, he was doing everything in his power to get to the ball and score. And, and that's what I felt, that, and the goals will come, and that's what, it happened. The goals came. And I'm really proud of that kid, being in such a position and now playing behind Benzema when Benzema was on form, when he was playing, and now that he's injured and again he has come on top. So it's really very good, and I'm proud to say, we have a player like Higuain, which most of the teams I feel, lack.
Yeah.
A wonderful attitude by that kid.
Okay. Yeah, Mourinho said in the press conference that only a stupid coach would get rid of him. That was nice. And another thing I want to say is during my tweeting last night, I was thinking, I really like how Kaká and Higuain are combining tonight. I wish they would score more and stuff. And then suddenly the goal arrives, and I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna keep, talking about it. Let's see if I make some more happening. Yeah, I really believe that I have such an influence. So, Yeah, I called that kind of the goals of the needy, because they both needed goals and assists and stuff, and they did that together. So it was kind of cool. Okay, next question. I want to talk about the midfield. The Xavi and Khedira, because I wanted to know your thoughts, because Mourinho said that Sain was not, going to play that much because he's not as efficient as other players, and therefore he would keep playing with Xavi, Khedira, Las and Granero. And so his choice last night was Khedira over Granero, so I wanted to talk about that. What do you think? Why, despite all the praises he gave Granero in the press conference, that was actually very big of him, he basically admitted that he didn't give Granero the playing time he deserved, and yet he puts Khedira on the field. So is it due to maybe Espanyol's type of game, or for any other reasons? I wanted to know your thoughts about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I feel that, that it was due to the game, that he chose to start with Khedira. And as it has been proved time and time again, that Alonso and Khedira, they work, means they are pair made in heaven. Absolutely, right now, at the moment, because they work, they complement each other's play, While, whenever Khedira plays, I've always noticed that Alonso's is more free, and his passes are, very less intercepted, and he's about out of 100, about 95% of his crosses, they reach the players. It's like they are not misplaced. In spite of and when other when Diarra plays, or you can say when Granero plays, I've seen that his passes tend to suffer a lot and his game suffers a lot. But with Khedira playing, he complements his play, and Khedira acts as a decoy, which I might as well go to suggest, because he keeps the opposition attention on himself, while Alonso is free to to pass all those aerial balls to the forwards.
Okay.
Which I feel that which is much which is much better, and and that's what and from which Madrid benefits a lot from this play.
Okay. Aaron?
Yeah, Khedira definitely offers something different than Granero. Khedira is a more defensively sound player, and I think that goes back to what I was talking about. When we first heard, that the emphasis for the team from the get-go was defensive stability, being secure in the back and moving forward from there. And I think Khedira gives that to you better than Granero does. But I do love all the praise that Mourinho was gushing over Granero. I think that's fantastic. Because he's the kind of player that we need to hold on to, that we need to cultivate, that we need to make our own. Because, as much as the Bernabeu loves a player like Higuain, who, isn't necessarily a youth product, but we brought him in a young age, we need to have a player like Granero that is truly our own. And granted, he, spent a little time down in Getafe, but I mean, that's practically Madrid's B-side, so close enough, right? And we need to work towards, bringing up players like that and letting them be the future stars of our team. Or at least the future workhorses of our team. Granero might not ever be a superstar a la Cristiano Ronaldo, but he can definitely be a very solid worker and someone that could be part of our squad for years to come.
Okay. Well, somebody I remember from a couple of months ago, I think it was a Koulé actually, who labeled Las a workhorse also. Would you agree with that?
Oh yeah, Lozano is definitely a workhorse, but he is not the kind of player that I feel like is likely to commit his future to Madrid. He always has felt a little bit transient, not necessarily mercenary, because, it feels like there's some passion. He's truly fighting for the team. But at the end of the day, I think he is looking out for himself first, which is fair enough. He's a professional. There's no more than you can demand of a player. But even when we first bought him and he was totally tearing it up, like he was by far the best player on our team for the first half season after we bought him, I still got the feeling that he was going to be on his way out of here eventually, and not after his play dipped considerably, as in he was going to be sold before he started to droop his standards.
Okay, that is a good insight for an idea of post that we have. So Karan is working on that actually. So that's good. I will tell him, listen to the Q&A, listen to what Aaron said. Okay, moving on to the defense. I'm going to be a happy person right now. Because Varane got to play. I'm such a fangirl. But I'm not a fangirl, actually, because I'm not shouting at him and wearing provocative clothes to strike his attention, but I'm just proud. So anyway, Carvalho started. I wanted to know your opinion on that. That if we had got a question in during the press conference, we might have asked that. We might have asked if Mourinho was going to go with Carvalho, who is more experienced but maybe less informed, or Varane, who is less experienced but has also played with the national team and what?
Yeah, ask him if he's going to play, but he's not going to.
Okay, Javi is telling me things also, but no worries. So, anyway, what did you think of that choice, Carvalho over Varane? And then, why do you think Carvalho was pulled out of the game? Karanka said it was because of his yellow card. I wanted to know if you thought maybe his performance had disappointed also.
Yeah, absolutely. His performance was shit ass.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, but it was so poor. I mean, I can say right now that he deserves to be sold off. I mean, he's way past his prime. He cannot. I mean, after 4-5 missed passes yesterday in the first half itself. I mean, I was thinking, what is this guy thinking? Like, does he even have his mind in the game? Yesterday, he didn't even know what he was doing, what he was supposed to do. I mean, he looked off shadow of his of himself, So yesterday I thought, and bringing on Varane was actually a very good decision by Mourinho, and I really feel that Varane should be our third choice CB over this Carvalho. Carvalho deserves to be sold off.
Okay, Aaron,
after yesterday's performance.
Any how do you say, more neutral words maybe?
Well, I'm not going to condemn him after one poor performance. I know when I found out that his contract was renewed earlier in the season, I was concerned for precisely this reason. I don't see him as a long-term member of Real Madrid. I think he's definitely on the decline, but I don't think it was an atrocious performance. I thought it was poor, but considering the rust that he must have had from his lack of playtime, I can understand. Perhaps I would hope for more from a veteran like that. I would hope the one thing that he would definitely be able to offer was that he could come in from the cold and perform right away, but he just didn't show that, and moving forward, it's tough to see him getting a lot of opportunities if he's not capable of doing that, because, let's be honest, he's definitely nowhere close to first choice for center back.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think you're totally correct in that Varane played better than Carvalho, and it's difficult to imagine Carvalho getting a lot of opportunities ahead of the young Frenchman going forward. So that might have been one of the last appearances, even though I hate to condemn a player after a single performance, that might have been his swan song. And he did he did fairly well for us when we first got him, but it just his age combined with his inability to perform, because you look at Rafa, and besides national team performance, he hasn't been getting a lot of playtime either, but he came in and he was solid, like he didn't skip a beat. There was definitely the sense that Carvalho was the weak link when he was in, and Ramos was the strong link, but Ramos didn't have to carry nearly as much weight in the second half, and it showed, like he didn't look quite as much like a rock star, which I always hate to see. I got a soft spot for Ramos. But thankfully, Carvalho got that soft yellow card, so there was an excuse to pull him off and didn't have to bruise his ego quite as bad, I suppose.
Oh, I see. Okay. Psychology going on. Okay, so those are pretty harsh words overall about Carvalho. You don't think that he can, step up? Because some players, like Kaká, for instance, I really like him, but sometimes he disappoints, and then he puts a show like last night. So you don't think Carvalho can do that and raise above the challenge?
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Aaron.
Go ahead.
If we get struck by an injury crisis at back, then he'll have a chance to redeem himself, certainly. But as long as we continue with a fairly healthy back line, and short of some ridiculous, collection of yellow and red cards, and suspensions, there we go. Unless that happens, I just don't see him getting too many more opportunities when we have, such an amazing prospect at center back. Okay. But, Mourinho makes decisions that I don't understand, and in retrospect, I am forced to agree with. So, it might certainly happen that Carvalho will get a chance to redeem himself. I just don't see it being likely.
Okay. All right. Saurav?
Yeah, see, what you just said, I am not, okay, those are harsh words of mine, but, if he really works hard and, if he can make a comeback like that, then obviously why not? But then again, I don't see him, as Aaron pointed out, I don't see him in the starter, and I don't see him, and with a performance like last night, and if he, I don't see him in for a third or fourth choice CV also. But if he improves, and like Kaká, and if he works hard and gives a training like that, then of course I can see him back again in Mourinho's plans, because Mourinho does have a soft spot for him. Mm-hmm. So so if he works hard and if he works on his game a bit, then why not? Otherwise, I don't see that happening.
That is a really good point, though. He is definitely one of Mourinho's men, and Mourinho plays favorites. Yeah. I should perhaps temper. I don't see any possibility for redemption, but I'm sure Mourinho will.
Okay, and Mourinho will give him a chance.
Changing my mind, it's more than likely.
Okay, all right. So a few more words about Varane, please. No, just kidding. I just wanted to say that in one of the, maybe 3 or 4 Q&As ago, Tanush said that he really liked what Varane did, but what he was expecting him to improve was going more forward, not just passing the ball, but just trying to go more forward and help in the midfield. And I think I saw a bit of that last night, but I don't know if my vision was impaired. And also I like that he did really great passes to especially Higuain and Cristiano. I saw a few good distribution. So if you could comment on that also.
I think he's just growing, his comfortability, his comfortableness, and
his comfort. I don't know.
He's growing in his relationship with the team. He's getting more familiar with who's going to be where at what time, who's going to make what run, and it's natural. He's also growing a little bit more confident in his ability to stonewall La Liga attackers. So I think that was the natural progression that was always going to happen. The more he played, the more likely he was to be able to link up with the midfield, link up with the attack, and distribute the ball. And I think it's brilliant of Mourinho to sort of slowly progress him like that and make sure that at first all he had to do was worry about defensive responsibilities, because Screwing up big time in defense is the easiest way to blow a young center back's confidence. And we've thankfully avoided that, He hasn't taken any major hits to his confidence, and I think we're kind of through the woods as far as danger zone goes for that, He has a couple very confident performances under his belt, so that even if he does, start the next match and have a relatively poor match, it's not the end of the world for him. And the Bernabeu is going to stick behind him because we've seen that he can actually produce. He's got the goods, So I agree. I saw him linking up. I think it's fantastic, but I wasn't surprised at all.
Okay. A few more words, sort of. Yeah.
Yeah. I watching him play, I feel that, I have a doubt whether he's really 19, because that the ability to read the game so well, it only happens with, I've seen it on only more experienced CBs, and experienced central backs and all. But that kid, he's a prodigy, and he has that in him to become one of the world-class CBs and a permanent starter for Real Madrid. And Moreno has done a very fantastic job, as Aaron has pointed out, giving him relatively 2-3 games under his belt, built up his confidence, and now he's also wants him to help out in the midfield, and yesterday's passing, and I also saw him that he went more up the field and he was, man marking the Espanyol players, which is absolutely very wonderful, seeing a kid of that age and performing so, so brilliantly against one of the relatively tough opponents of La Liga. So yeah, that kid has it in him to be one of the world class CBs.
Okay. Good words. Okay, so a few more words about the other defenders. Aaron, you called Ramos a rock star compared to Carvalho in the first half. Marcelo, I really liked what I saw. He wasn't surprising, but he was very offensive minded last night, and I don't know, it was really good. Arbeloa, sometimes I was a bit like, ooh, no, what are you doing? What's that mess? So I don't know, but that was not all the time. It was more in the first half actually, but Arbeloa went better after all. So I don't know how you felt about those three guys.
I like seeing Marcelo and Arbeloa sort of pairing on opposite wings, because Marcelo ends up playing further up the pitch, obviously, and then he ends up doing more to disrupt in the midfield. He almost plays as a hybrid winger / defensive midfielder. He breaks up play sort of before it hits the back line, where Arbeloa plays more reserved, plays more like a traditional, fullback, and kind of slots in with that back line. So I think the pair of them, they did really well. They definitely covered for some of Carvalho's blushes. But when you got a center back like Ramos in there and he was on form, he had a dynamite game, He was definitely, letting Espanyol know who was boss.
Okay.
So I was very pleased. I wasn't particularly disappointed with Arbeloa, but I could see how you might have been. It's just I think he was doing what the team needed.
Okay.
Which, playing a little bit more reserved.
Yeah, in my opinion, is not really to be trusted anyway. I'm just saying what I saw, but it's in no way is it an expert's opinion. So.
What I feel that that Arbeloa is played when we need that defensive stability in the team. He's played that time when we have on the last two matches where we played well, and as Aaron had pointed out so repeatedly that we needed that defensive stability. So that's why I feel that that's where Arbeloa comes in, and I feel that he gives that much needed stability on in the wing backs. He doesn't go forward as much as is required, but he gives that stability on whichever side he's played as a wing back, and more as a traditional wing back, as I pointed out, and I feel that any of the thus, he gives the freedom for the Ramos or Marcelo to go forward and attack, and while he stays back and defends, which is actually very good, which is actually what we need, I feel.
Okay. All right. So can I move on to Cristiano now?
Sure.
Okay.
Of course.
Okay. I was really happy with his performance, especially after I checked some of his stats, because I started looking into statistics yesterday afternoon, and I saw that, I don't know, sometimes I think that, he takes, too many free kicks, and he sends that, like, wherever, I don't know, to over the ocean, or I don't know, like, pass to somebody, stop taking the shot, pass to somebody. I'm a bit harsh on him. And then when I checked the stats, I saw that maybe my impression was a bit not necessarily true with reality. So I was looking at him from a different point of view, and I liked the goal, and I liked that he let Ozil take the free kick, which Ozil sent into this poor Espanyol's player face. And he built chances, and he wasn't selfish. He actually gave a lot, I thought, to Higuain, to Kaká, to Ozil, to Morata. Yeah, a good performance, right? And anything else on his attitude you want to say also? Aaron, you want to go first?
I think when he scores his goal, he's much happier, and it becomes much easier for him to assist others. He was definitely trying hard to get Morata that goal at the very end. Which I thought it was nice. My girlfriend thought it was really cute. I'm neither going to confirm nor deny that opinion was shared by me, but I think, he's the kind of player that he wants a goal every time he steps on the pitch. So when he gets that goal, he becomes a much easier personality to work around. But at the end of the day, he is going to set up other players when it's more than likely that he's in a better assisting position than a scoring position, Like a lot of the times when he has a reasonable shot, I'm not going to get on him for shooting, because a lot of times he's in fairly dangerous positions, and taking those shots from outside of the box serves an important function for the team. It tests the opposition goalkeeper. Sometimes you get a lucky goal there, but what it also does is it forces the goalkeeper to sort of play in a different kind of mode, which can help you score goals later on in completely separate situations. So there is some merit. There is helping the team in all those shots that he takes from outside the box. You're going, oh, come on, you could have passed it. Like he's actually doing something for the team there. And a lot of times, it depends on what the opposition is giving him. Sometimes they just give him an easy run right down to the byline, and you see that he can punish you terribly when you do that, because he just gets down to the byline, cuts it back in the middle, and if somebody's making the run they're supposed to, like Higuain, it's an easy ball crossed into them. They have the goal at their mercy. Sometimes Higuain scores those, sometimes he doesn't. I should say Casilla had a great save on that shot in the first half, but Cristiano knows how to punish a team based on what they give him. So it really depends on what the opposition is doing for whether or not Cristiano gets to turn provider.
Okay. Saurav?
I have always felt that that since he moved to Madrid, and after under Mourinho, he has become much less selfish and much better team player. And that's what he did last night. Although I feel that sometimes he tends to become more selfish if he hasn't gotten a goal himself. But after he scored that first goal, in the first half, he became he started playing more for the team. He was giving passes to Higuain, to Kaká, because they needed to score, and he was passing the ball to them. Even when he was in a better position, he was passing the ball to them. I could see that yesterday. And and that's what differentiates him from his Manchester United days. It makes him now he plays for the team. And yesterday he's even when Higuain yesterday was in a better position, he gave the ball to Ronaldo, and then he went and scored. So after that, I feel that it's a different Ronaldo that we are seeing now. A much better Ronaldo who plays for the team and plays much better and gets lots of goals too.
Okay. Somebody on the site, I think his name is Amedo. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but he said that he felt Madrid was always playing to feed Cristiano with the balls, and that maybe some other players, should have more opportunities too. Do you feel that way? Because I don't really feel like that. I don't feel that everything is centered on Cristiano. I don't know.
No, not yesterday. I mean, since the last few games, I haven't seen that a team, always wants to feed him goals. No, it hasn't been like that. I don't see the game like that. At least yesterday, it wasn't the scenario. All I could see that Kaká, Higuain, Ozil, Ronaldo, they were all playing, as like a team. All the players, they were complementing each other. If someone was in a better position, they were passing the ball to him, and if he has a better shot at a goal, then the ball is being passed to him and he can score. And I feel that when Ronaldo, as Anne pointed out very correctly, Ronaldo takes a shot only when when he's at a better shot at the goal, and his teammates aren't, and then only he takes a shot. Or either if he's frustrated and the team isn't getting goals, and then he starts shooting just like that. But then yesterday I felt that he just gave his full to the team, full 100%, and he was even running back, collecting the balls, and then dribbling past players, giving the ball to Kaká. It was wholly and fully a team game. I totally disagree with that fellow.
Okay.
I think it's very rare that Ronaldo takes the shot when it's obvious that someone else on the team is in a better position than him for shooting, like a much better position. I should correct myself. There are times when he definitely takes the shot when there's perhaps somebody else in a slightly more dangerous position, but he's not the kind of guy to be selfish in the sense of, I know you have a better opportunity of scoring this goal, but I'm going to take the shot anyway. He's just the kind of guy that pulls the trigger. He's clearly the most trigger happy of the players on our side, especially when we were playing with Benzema up top, because Benzema does like to link up. He does like to, play. Excuse me. He does like to pass the ball around and get into really dangerous positions before taking the shot. Higuain is a little bit more predatory than that, but Cristiano Ronaldo is just the person most likely on our team to pull the trigger. So I think that's why perhaps the thought is that the team plays around building opportunities for Cristiano Ronaldo, but I really don't find that to be the case at all.
Okay. All right, so we will see what Amedo answers. I know he has a soft spot for Benzema, so maybe that's also the reason why he feels like that. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, now a few words about Callejon. I so wanted him to score last night, because last night was kind of like Kaká had scored, Higuain had scored. I wanted Callejon to score because he used to have a very good stats about his rate of goals compared to the number of matches he played. So I wanted him to score, and it didn't happen. Did you find that he had a good performance nevertheless?
Yeah, that kid is, he has a very good, what do you say? I'm forgetting the word. Anyway, that kid is very good, and yesterday performance, yesterday he wasn't given that much chance, that much time to prove himself. Although he usually, whenever he gets a shot at goal, he takes it. But yesterday, I feel that he was more or less, he was just substituted enough to just give, to complement Ronaldo, and just to get him some playing time. That's what I felt, that he was just being given enough playing time. That's what I felt. I didn't feel that he was just being brought on to change the game. There was not much changing necessary, so he was just being brought on to be given some time and to impress. But I felt that he didn't impress me so much, to be honest, yesterday.
No, I agree. I don't think he had a fantastic game, but you know what? It's really tough to come into a game like that. You know, it's over. Everyone on the pitch knows it's over. Espanyol knows
Yeah.
it's over. Real Madrid knows it's
Yeah.
over. You know, the guys that are getting ready to come on after the field and water the pitch know it's over. And when you come in that situation, you know, nobody's pushing to score that next goal. Espanyol's not really pushing the counter. They're just trying to sit back and limit the damage. Real Madrid is just trying to make sure, you know, nobody gets hurt. You know, everyone ends the game safe, sound, and ready to play next week. So, I'm sorry.
Oh, bronchitis.
No, it's not quite gone yet, but it's turning into chronic, unfortunately. But that's chronic bronchitis. That's chronic. But you know, when you come in that kind of situation where the game's over, it's tough to score goals. So I'm not really going to critique him that much. I don't think he had a fantastic game. I thought he was fairly anonymous, but I thought the last little bit of the match was fairly anonymous. You know, besides trying to get Morata that goal, which I can totally understand, was kind of the emphasis of the team at that point. You know, if that's to be believed that we were still trying to score that goal, it was all about getting our Cantero product to get that goal. So, you know, no, he didn't have a great game. Yes, he has a reputation for coming in at the tail end of games and scoring, but a lot of those goals were actually fairly important, fairly meaningful goals. And, you know, turning 5-0 into 6-0 would have not been meaningful at all.
Okay.
So, if this is the game that he doesn't score a goal in, I am totally fine with that.
Okay. No, I just wanted it so bad, but just, you know, because I'm sensitive and I thought, oh, it would be nice if he scored. That's it.
Yeah, it would be nice if Casillas got a goal too, you know.
Oh, please.
Well, it's another one, you know, because it's been a while.
Yeah, that would have been fantastic. You know, Aaron, if Casillas would have gotten himself a goal.
But in all honesty, like you were hoping Carrion was going to get a goal, I was hoping Morata was going to get a goal. I was really holding out hope that he was going to pull Jose Lu scored a goal in his first appearance for us, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, it would be Morata's second appearance, but first appearance this season. I was hoping he would get a goal, but just didn't happen. You know, he had a really good opportunity. You know, that was a good shot. It wasn't you know, an opportunity he wasted. It was just Casillas just didn't want any more goals scored on him. You know, he had a very good performance. To be honest, even losing 5-0, I thought he made some very solid saves.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like, I'm not gonna be scored by that kid. No way.
By my former Cantera product, or you know, I'm not getting scored again. I'm not getting scored again today.
Yeah.
But it was actually, you know, even Casillas also, you know, he deserves some praise. You know, like absolutely mind-blowing performance from him. If not for him, it would have been double figures yesterday.
Okay, well, actually, I wanted to talk a little bit about Espanyol because otherwise Mourinho is gonna complain that we forgot we weren't playing alone. So Javi was telling me that they had a good attack, but maybe they were not playing as a team too much, and they were lacking in midfield, and I was thinking maybe they were lacking in defense also. So what do you think was Espanyol's major problem? And don't answer Real Madrid.
The defense was not. Yeah, the scoreline and the defense was not organized, you know, and I felt that, you know, they had even when they were winning the ball, that transition was not there, you know, the midfield was not working effectively, you know, the transition from defense to offense, you know, when you are counter-attacking, that thing was missing. And even when they got into a good scoring opportunities, it was criminal of their forwards to miss some of clearly sitters, some of glorious chances that you know that they missed. You know, in one point I was actually imagining I was actually thinking the score would be, you know, like they would score now, you know, but they just failed to convert their chances. So actually, as a whole, the team, it didn't function. The defense was unorganized. The midfield was in complete mess. They were giving lot of spaces to Alonso, Khedira, where they thrive on such, on such things, and which resulted in more position to Kaká, Ozil, and Ronaldo, and which led to those goals. Because yesterday I felt that they just couldn't keep hold of the positions,
Okay.
For me, they looked like a team that was psychologically broken. They're on 6-game losing streak now. They can't seem to put it together. I think at the beginning of the game, they had this sense that they might be able to get a point out of us because, it's right after international games and typically that's when the biggest teams suffer because, what was it? Everyone minus 2 of our starting lineup were playing internationally, so there was a lot of travel lag and all that issues. So I think they thought at the beginning of the game that they might have been able to get something out of it, but the longer the game went on, the more they realized that they didn't really have a chance, and without that belief, all was lost. I thought they did particularly poorly in attacking and defending as a team. Typically when you play against, a side that outclasses you, like Real Madrid versus Espanyol, you have to be very good about making sure that your team is on the same page with that attacking push, and obviously you guys have to be on the same page defending, otherwise you're going to get scored out of the park. But when they did have those opportunities to attack, it felt like there was a lack of communication there. That one, that British kid, who's on loan from Manchester City, Weiss was it, I think? He looked like a firecracker, but, he was kind of just up there on his own. He wasn't really getting the support that he needed, and, they failed to take advantage of defensive mistakes, and when you do that, you're never going to win against Real Madrid. Granted, Ramos did a lot to fix those, so much as it was a great play by Ramos, in so much as it was a missed opportunity by Espanyol. But still, if you can't make those count, then that's going to be a loss for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I think we've covered most of the topics. Anything else you want to say? Nope. Doesn't look like it. Okay, so I just want to take the opportunity to send some good wishes to Tanuj, who is having midterm exams right now, I believe. Pekshid, who is playing with his team in India and has to, recover from a recent loss, but I believe they're going to win the next match. And overall, I want to thank everybody who's sending me nice messages on Twitter and Facebook. I appreciate it very much. Thank you for your kind words. And thank you very much, lastly, but, to Aaron and Saurav for being with us today. It's very nice of you. Thank you very much, guys.
Yep. It was a pleasure.
Yep. Yeah, always a pleasure.
Thank you. Well, take care. Have a good day, Aaron. Evening, Saurav. Good afternoon for myself. And
have a great afternoon.
Thank you. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Yeah, sure.
This was a Madridismo.org production.